So here we have some stories about advice that has been given. Some of these might be clever, some of these might not be, but hopefully you'll get a kick out of them or entertain you if nothing else, right? So the first one starts off with, sometimes doing something wrong is better than doing nothing at all. That's true. I've heard that. And along those lines, it's you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. CPR, if you do nothing, you're dead. Might as well try your best. It's applicable to school. Turning in something, even rubbish, is better than turning in nothing. You still get some credit. There you go. See? There's some good advice. My grandmother always likes to say, think before you ink. No, does this mean tattoos or before you write? Um, I guess it just depends on your idiom. You usually regret the decisions you didn't take rather than the ones you did. No, in my case, it's usually the opposite, but that's just okay. That's good advice for some people. I think a lot of this is, experience. What's going on with you? Asking questions to know more or get something is the kind of attitude comes from someone who wants to get rich and stay alive long enough to enjoy it. Okay. Also, if someone takes less than 5 minutes to do it now. If something, okay, yeah, I can understand. Do it now and don't worry about procrastinating. Keep moving forward. It sounds a lot like suck it up, but it's not as harsh and is a better mantra to live by. It doesn't mean that we have to ignore our problems or that we have to live like our past didn't happen. But to me, it means that you have to move forward despite the things that have happened in my past. The misfortunes, heartbreaks, mistakes, embarrassing moments, etc., that I've encountered shouldn't get in the way of the life I want to live. I used to really get hung up over my past mistakes and things I could have done and would have significantly changed my path. But I'm learning to accept everything I've done day by day. It makes me want to work hard on being a better person, to forgive myself and the people who have hurt me. See, that's good life advice too. It's you can't always dwell on the past. It's tempting, but you can't. If something's too good to be true, it probably is. Good advice not to get scammed online nowadays. That's very true. No matter how good or bad things get, they will change. That's that's universal. Yeah. This was told to this person by their 10th grade theater teacher. I was in a bad place and he basically mentored me on how to get my shit together. And that's one bit of wisdom that really stuck with me. The idea that change is part of life and the importance of being able to accept change is really important, I think. Yes, it is. That's one thing that you always have to do. Um, Change is inevitable, good, bad, or otherwise. I struggled with loneliness and depression for a while. One of my good friends was talking to me one day and said to me, if you're ever feeling sad, if you notice that you're walking around with your head down and always looking at the ground, stop and breathe. Then remind yourself that you are a walking God. You have $1 million, an array of sunshine in your pocket, and no one is ever going to take that away from you. Now hold your head high and let these people know who you are. I didn't pay attention to it at the time, but took this advice. I took that deep breath, held my head high, and went on with it, and it worked. I felt better and still do this every time that I start to feel like shit. This too shall pass. Yes, that one, I think everyone has heard that at some point. You don't need a degree to be successful. It certainly took the pressure off and opened my views into different ways of making myself successful. Yeah, I think a lot of people do. The best man speech at a wedding I have ever heard was short. Or I guess the best man speech. The two of you are going to hear all kinds of advice on how to make a marriage work. Find out what works for the two of you and ignore all of it. Cheers. It's actually a really good and sweet. Sometimes the people that follow you aren't always your fan or friend. That's very true, especially on like social media crap. Let's see, sometimes you just need to nod and smile and then do what you know has to be done anyway. Just like the penguins in Madagascar. Smile and wave, boys. Smile and wave. I still say that. Some people get it, some people don't. You cannot control other people. You can only control your reaction to them. That's lifelong advice right there. You can never control anybody else, just how you react to them and how you handle them. And that's the best you're ever going to get, really. The most important project you will ever work on is yourself. Aww. It looks like it should be like, poster with a kitten on it or something. I love that. I am not responsible for everyone's happiness. That is also true. There's a lot of, a lot of people are people pleasers, and it's hard to get out of that, but you need to definitely take that advice and realize you can't make everyone happy, and it's not your job. I had a professor once say, take your responsibilities serious, but not yourself. That's a good one. If everyone on this planet would just chill out and not take themselves so seriously, a lot of society's problems would fix themselves. Well, I think they still need some work, but yeah, take your responsibilities seriously, but not yourself. That is wise, very wise. My wife's dad always says, be cool, don't be a fool. Is it like no glove, no love? I don't know. So imagine this with a Nigerian accent and you'll feel the gravity of this sage advice. See, if I had read that part first, I'm not going to do a Nigerian accent, but that would definitely be cooler. Hurting someone is just as much a part of life as getting hurt. It helped me end abusive friendships. Well, yeah, there's that whole boundaries thing, and sometimes you just gotta suck it up, tough it out, and do the best you can, and not worry about how it's going to affect somebody else. You don't want to be rude and hateful, but you got to do what's best for you sometimes. Sometimes. You're worrying about who'd get the kids in the divorce before you even ask them out for coffee. Only summed up to me exactly how much I over worry everything. But led me to asking how my now husband out for coffee rather than continue to worry about how terribly wrong it could go. See, that's seizing the day, carpe diem, and all that stuff. And I suppose since you're married now, everything's cool. It's as cool as it can be. Don't buy something unless you can afford two of them, except for big purchases like a home. I guess that's kind of a smart thing. That's one level of economics that most people don't travel down. Don't buy something unless you can afford two of them. Okay. So two heads of cabbage are better than one? I don't know. You can learn something from everyone, no matter who they are or what their station in life is. Don't ever summarily dismiss anyone. This one, I've heard variations of this all my life, and that's true. Everyone's got experiences. Most of them are different from yours. It doesn't cost anything to listen to them, to hear them, you may not have to agree with them, but at least hear their point of view, hear their experiences. It might, later on, it might come in handy. I like that one. So this person says, my dad had a handful. So ready? Assume everyone else on the road besides you is a fucking moron. I live by this. That way, if you think you'll do something stupid and prepare for it, you'll react fast when they do end up doing something stupid. Yeah, I drive into Mexico. It's inevitable. Do a little bit more than what you're asked to do at your job. Yeah, I was always taught that as well. Go kind of above and beyond. Good advice. Not for everything, because sometimes it's not always appreciated, but uh, that's not always the point. Sometimes it's about you. Focus on today. If you worry about what comes tomorrow, a week from now, or a year from now, you will become overwhelmed and break down. Focus on what is happening now and get through it. That's very, very true. I mean, you gotta be kind of conscious of what's going on in the future. You don't want to like completely, well, I have money today, so let's, go blow it on chickpeas. You gotta plan a little bit, but yeah, you don't want to stay too focused on the future because then it's not good for you. It's just not good. Protect and care for your significant other and your family, but don't carry their burdens or yours alone. They are your partner and your family, not your burden. Lean on them when you need to because they love you too. And he says, I can't believe I forgot this one. It truly touched my heart. When I was young, I thought the reason my father would rag on me over what seemed like everything I did was because he hated me or because because I wasn't like him. After years, I finally exploded and confronted him about it. He looked so guilty, and I think that was the closest I've ever seen him come to crying. He apologized over and over and said that it wasn't what he meant. He said that what he meant so much for me to shape who I was. As your father, I don't want you to be me. I don't ever want you to be someone you aren't. The reason I push you is because I want you to be better than me. See, that's a man, that is a basic tenet of pretty much every decent parent out there. My husband and I were just talking about that with our son. It's like we feel kind of like we're not telling you enough of what you could do, what you should do. We're trying to keep you from making the mistakes we make. And yes, there is that whole element of, well, you got to make your own mistakes, but sometimes you need a little advice as to not to make those stupid mistakes. And, we got a lot of experience. So in a job interview or something like that, just remember the person in front of you pees and shits just like you. You know, that's smart. Yeah. Except that some days you are the pigeon and other days the statue. Okay. You won't forget some bad things. You just stop caring. Until that happens, don't stress too much about it. I think that stress is a lot of advice people need to take. Just don't stress. I should take that advice. As you move from a generation of helicopter parents to snowplow parents, I am reminded of my parents' words of wisdom. The world doesn't owe you a living, and life isn't fair. See, I never grew up with that kind of thing. And we always knew life wasn't fair because we lived that. But the helicopter parent thing was not a thing with me. Of course, I'm much older, so I don't get it, but it is what it is. This one says, it's like a box of chocolates. You never know which one you'll get. Gee, that sounds so familiar. Life is hard, nature is hostile, and people are ridiculous. Oh my God, that should be a t-shirt, a bumper sticker, something, because that is just, yeah. Basically, I always grew up with life is hard and then you die. So that was our mantra. If you fuck up, own it. I have messed up at work a few times and come out clean immediately. They helped fix my fuck up and move on. Shit happens. This is also very true. Don't pin it on anybody else. Don't try to sugarcoat it. Just say, yep, I fucked up. Here we go. I did that. I tried to do that. Let's rephrase this. Let go of the past and keep your head high. If you can, do it. Buy as much silver as you can get your hands on. Well, if you can afford it, yeah. Thanks for the investment advice, random drunken hillbilly who drove a Rolls Royce Phantom. I was 19, illegally drinking in a backwoods bar in rural West Virginia. Bartender said this hobo-looking insane person owned everything useful within a 100-mile radius. Silver was $4 an ounce at the time. Now it's over 500. And this was 15, sorry. This was several years ago. So, yeah. Everyone always has a financial advice. It usually comes too late. Don't believe everything you hear and only half of what you see. I've heard this one before. Basically means to question everything and understand people have motives you might not be aware of. Yes. The 6 inches between your ears should be the most expensive real estate in the world. Only to be determined who. Yeah. Only you determine who you should allow to rent the space to it. I read that terribly. Don't let other people control your emotions. If you do, it's because you allow them to occupy space in your head. So if I hadn't said that so poorly, that would have made a lot of sense. But yeah, don't give people your head space, your time, your energy, if they don't deserve it. That's basically what it's saying. To always strive for forgiveness and try to forget. My baby mama really helped me become a better person. Aww. Stop giving a damn about what other people think of you. Seriously, just be who you are. Random strangers really don't give a crap about what you do, what you look like, or what you say. You are not being watched every time you step outside. The sooner you realize that, the happier you'll be. That's true for the most part, but I'm kind of a paranoid person, so that advice is a little difficult. First, focus on the little things, because without them, nothing big can ever happen. Again, that sounds like it should be a poster with a kitten. My uncle always told me it never hurts to ask questions. That's true. There's that whole, the only stupid question is the one you don't ask, which I don't think is true because I've heard some really stupid questions. And I really, it hurts my head when you have to realize, oh shit, somebody actually put time into it. You can marry more money than you can make in a lifetime. Wow. Only if you're good looking, though. My mom once told me that okay, I don't think I want to read this part. Let's move on. Never stop trying to be the person you want to be. That's true. Always try to improve yourself. Even if it's little things every day, you know, you can always be better. And by better, I don't mean like, superior. Just, you can always be more genuine. You can always be more compassionate. You can always be more productive. That sort of thing. Sometimes things just fall into your lap, but you have to be in the right seat. Oh, see, now that one's cool. I like that one. Someone once told me regarding college, get tutoring before you need it. They claim they read at one of those top secret student books. Get marriage counseling before you need it. So it's basically just be proactive. Got it. No one else knows what they're doing either. Yeah, for the most part, that's been my experience. People have a lot of opinions and a lot of thoughts on matters, but we're all still kind of winging it through life. You only ever truly fail if you give up trying. See, I have a little bit of a problem with that one. Just because you're not the first to get there doesn't mean you never will. That's also true. But at some point, failing, you've got to, if you just keep not getting the results you need, maybe you need to change your attitude, you need to change your motives, you need to change something about what you're doing. Not saying you have to give up, but maybe alter where you're going or your expectations. You'll never know what you can do unless you try. Yeah, that's true. That quote came from the Barbie movie. Really? Pretty sure it's, been advice for a lot of other stuff too. But okay. Never saw the Barbie movie. Sorry. Not a Margot Robbie fan. I do like the dude though. What's the dude's name? Ryan Gosling. Young Hercules. Love him. Plan a vacation every 6 months. Even if it's just your typical days off, treat it as though it's a vacation and do your favorite things at home. You'll have something to look forward to, and the time off will feel more restorative. See, this is advice that most of us could really take because um, vacations are not a thing with me and my family. Just hasn't been for 19 years. Um, but we do typically try to look forward to our days off. So we kind of use this, but we probably should make it a little more special. Don't sweat this petty stuff. Pet the sweaty stuff. I'm not going to touch that one with a 10-foot pole. Never repay evil with evil. See, that's good. Two wrongs don't make a right kind of attitude. If you want success, first bring value to yourself. Read books. I read one good book about life and it completely changed me. It's good. Reading is fundamental. Life isn't fair. See, there's another one of those, which, yeah, we completely agree with most of that. Life is not fair. It never has been, never will be. Find someone who can be both your best friend and your lover. The honeymoon phase stops at some point while if you picked up your best friend, you'll have a partner for life. Aww. On a cloudy day, someone mentions it's going to rain. A boy will get upset and complain. A young man will be indifferent and say nothing. An adult man will say, good, we need it. Heard this recently and it's really stuck with me. Someone understanding the bigger picture is motivation enough to do things even if you don't like them. Instead of seeing everything you might not like as a disappointment, think of it as an opportunity for growth. Ooh, that is brilliant. I like that one. Don't take life for granted. That's very true. Don't worry about things out of your control. That is also true. I started hanging out with a girl who had a boyfriend and she left him for me. My sister said she would do that to me too. I was dumb to realize it, but she was right. I was too dumb to realize it, but she was right. That girl ended up leaving me for someone else more than once. Basically, if they're going to cheat on one person, they'll cheat on somebody else, is what they're trying to say. And yeah, yeah, never had that happen to me, but I've definitely seen that 100 times. This sounds like a joke, but my friend's dad said to us when we left for college, be smart, not dumb. It was said jokingly, and it stuck with me over the years. And in moments when you're about to do something that's right on the boundary, it's come back into my head and save me from doing stupid shit. Rip, Mr. Bliss. Be smart, not dumb. There you go. If you learn one new thing, only one new thing per day, you'll be a genius. Well, I really can't argue with that, so I'm not going to. Anyway, thanks for listening. Hope you enjoyed this video. Please like, share, subscribe, comment. Any of that would help, and I appreciate you listening. And we'll talk to you later. Bye.